This
Sure.
is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube, and I'm honored to have a mayor from Mine Hill, New Jersey, one of the towns where there's been these unusual UAP drone type incursions recently. I saw you on News Nation the other day. What's been going on in Mine Hill?
Well, yeah, Mayor Sam Morris here at your disposal. What's been going on here is the same it's been going on everywhere in New Jersey. For me, this started last Tuesday night. A resident reported to me that there were 8 drones over our municipal and school complex, all in the same block. And I felt the need to come out and investigate. I came out. By the time I got up here to look around, it was they were mostly gone, but they had moved east. And I had a video. I took a video. I could send to you that of them. They were over the town of kind of between Mine Hill and Dover, New Jersey, which is just east of us. Just going back and forth in a zigzag pattern. They were going north to a certain point, turning around, going south to a certain point. In a grid pattern or a scanning pattern, you might want to call it. And there was one stationary drone over the park. It's called Hedden Park. There was a stationary drone there. So it's very unusual. So since then, residents in town, of course, have gotten their own videos and pictures, and they are letting us have them. Some of them are very telling. You can see that they have fixed wings on these things. They're not planes. They are much lower than the planes, of course. And it's pretty much going on. It was really primarily Morris County, New Jersey for a couple of weeks. And now the rest of the state's been invaded. I mean, I'm using that phrase on purpose. They're everywhere. All the counties in New Jersey are reporting them. I know all the mayors and elected officials are frustrated. The governor's frustrated. So we're trying to hopefully get down to some answers.
Has the activity been increasing or decreasing as it's spreading? Because as I hear now, even Pennsylvania, you're getting some activity.
That's the part. So you would think, okay, it's leaving. Let's say there's 21 counties in New Jersey. It's leaving one county. They're going to another, right? No, it's like they're additional drones. The activity around here hasn't changed or lowered any, at least that we're getting reported. But other counties are getting this activity now in a volume that says they're not being transferred from one county to the other. The volume's just increasing. The quantity of them are just increasing.
And you mentioned in your News Nation interview, just as it was closing off, you think that someone should try and follow them to see where they're going. Do you know if anyone's tried this in the last couple of days?
I don't. No, I don't. I kind of coined a phrase saying we should follow one home. Follow a drone home, right? Have a follow the drone home party. Somebody, and I mean the Air Force, the FAA or Homeland Security, they have high-tech drones. The military has high-tech drones. If this is not known to them and this is not the perpetrator, let's say, or known to them, it's not the military, it's not known, then they should put one of those really high-end drones that they have up and follow one of these things, because they only have a limited battery life. They're going up at night which means they can't recharge from solar. So they're going to run out of battery at some point, and they have to go home. They have to go back to the operator, and they should follow one, and then they'll know who has it. It's really not that, to me, it's not that complicated.
From what you've heard being reported, has there been anyone in these? Because I understand some of them are the size of small aircraft, and sometimes drones can actually have somebody inside.
No, I haven't heard anything of that nature. I can tell you one night last week, my wife saw one. She was near the Rockaway Mall by the FedEx complex, and she saw one, and she told me it was the size of a small economy car. It was probably a couple 150, 120 feet up, and it was very shocking to her. She parked her car to try to get a picture, and it had moved pretty well out of range. It was just kind of a dot, but she saw it when she was, out her sunroof. But I haven't heard anything about any manned drones, not at all.
Someone on here is asking, you've mentioned what you know. Do you think more is known about this and they're just not sharing it to all levels of government yet?
So I'm part of a group of about 25 mayors who we all decided that we needed to start kicking up some dust over this, right? So on Sunday morning, we sent a press release. Sunday evening, we sent a formal letter to the governor and legislators. Speaking personally and speaking for my colleagues and other mayors, we're going to take everybody at their word. We don't want to come out and say that law enforcement or the governor's office or anyone are withholding anything, because we don't really have any proof of that. The most disturbing part of this is that if they truly don't, that's a scary thing. We've let it be known that if you want to known through certain channels that you do know, and that it's okay, it's an operation by the government or the military, that's fine, but people need to know that. And so far, they haven't come forth and said that.
Yeah, because you could understand how it could be a secret operation. That would explain why they're not being shot down, especially over military bases. But
Yep.
why would you want to panic your citizens, or even you yourself as a leader of the citizens?
And well, and early on in this, when this started back in November, there was, it was right after President-elect Trump, got elected, and he has the golf course near here, and he flies into Morristown Airport, which is nearby to here. So we thought, people were like, well, they took a shot at him over the summer. The Secret Service is doing their thing, but then they started just being everywhere, and in places that wouldn't have any relation to, the president's travels. So that's where, and then recently, and more recently, in the volume of them that are up there, that's what's really gotten people concerned and disturbed.
Someone is wondering if you can verify any details about this through air traffic controllers in the area.
Well, air traffic control goes through the Federal Aviation Administration, so it would have to go through them. We can't, at our level, we can't verify any information. Because they don't give it to us. We could ask for it, but they have press people and communications,
And somebody's also wondering regarding the other states. I mean, you're probably the most expert in your state, but what style of craft are we seeing? Probably there's some police craft up there too now, and probably some military craft, but of the unknown craft, is there any trends that you're seeing related to them?
I can tell you what I understand. I do have some friends. So I have some friends that live right now here in New Jersey. I know you're in Kansas, but here in New Jersey, there's 2 or 3 military bases. There's Fort Dix military base. There's and up right here by us is a place called Picatinny, which is they develop military weapons there. So there was a lot of concern was in Picatinny, but in Maryland there's a place called Aberdeen Proving Grounds, and they develop and fire weapons there. So I have friends that live down in Maryland, and I've asked them, and they said it really hasn't been widespread down there, but there has been a bit of it, right? But when you say there's a bit of it, could be the people are hyper aware, and they may be seeing things that really aren't drones. That's the only thing I've heard of out of state. I haven't heard anything specifically to me or at least to any of my other mayors that the either state police in other states or military in other states are up there doing anything. Unfortunately, that's exactly all we know.
And we've actually heard Tim Burchett, the Tennessee representative, kind of hint recently, I think it was in a Fox News interview, that it could possibly be China, but this was about 5 days ago. I know things have changed.
Yeah.
The one weird thing, if it is an enemy country, why would they be flashing with flashing lights? A lot of them.
Yeah. Well, I'll look, of course, I don't know. Wish I did, but I will tell you this. This is the one thing that we all find really bizarre. They start about 5:30 at night, right? Right after it gets dark on the East Coast, right? And they go till 10, 11, 12 in the evening. If they were trying to hide something, my 2 cents, they would do it around 2 a.m. There would be no lights on anything, and you wouldn't know. It would be very hard to know. They're almost, whoever it is almost daring us to catch them, because they're doing it when everybody's going to the grocery store, going to the mall, Christmas shopping, you're out running your kids to soccer and lacrosse, whatever you're doing. And they don't care. We all know they see all the Facebook messages or Facebook posts and the social media posts, and they don't care. They're doing it exactly the way they've been doing it for a month. It's not modifying any behavior. So that if it is a foreign agent, they certainly don't care. They absolutely don't care that we know and don't see it and that we see it.
And it's happening in the UK over US military bases too, apparently.
I've heard that. Of course, I don't have any,
Yeah, it might not be the same ones, right?
Well,
but who knows?
So I'm going to give you one bit of speculation from me. So I'm a car guy. I have 4 old classic cars, right? On weekends, I take them to car shows, right? Sometimes I travel, I go out of state. And in any given time in New Jersey, there's 30 to 50 car shows on every weekend in the summer. So there's guys who have the cars, the equipment, and they go, and it's an enthusiast thing, right? There are these organizations, Lionel Trains. There are guys all over the place. They're Lionel Train enthusiasts, and on and on. There are drone enthusiasts. There are guys who love this, and so what you might be seeing is enthusiasts doing this, and it's spreading through other clubs. There is the dark web. There's secret clubs and groups out there. That could be happening, and it would explain how the volume is increasing in other places and not decreasing in others. If in Morris County, making this up, if there's 100 drones in the air, and now all of a sudden in Ocean County, New Jersey, there's 100 drones in the air, and they're still up in Morris, a club mentality might make sense of why that's happening. But that's definitely what's happening. We're not losing any here, and they're gaining them in other places.
If it is that, what kind of punishment would they potentially be facing for causing this kind of outrage?
This is what I have been told. They're not necessarily violating any laws. And I'm not sure completely about my figures and statistics here, but I believe they have to stay under 400 feet, something like that. And they are not supposed to lose what's called a line of sight. So if I have a drone up, I have to physically be able to put my eyes on it at all times. Now, we don't know that they're doing that, but if they're, and the only thing you might be in violation of is you're supposed to file an FAA flight plan for a drone. That might be something you're in violation of. And if they get caught, they're going to get federally prosecuted. But it's not like they're buzzing houses or they're, dropping things on people, or they seem to be tiptoeing the law pretty carefully. Whoever's doing it.
So would you say that might be the best case scenario? What would you say is the best case scenario of what these are, and what would be the worst case scenario?
Well, you've already mentioned them. The best case scenario here is let's say this is some kind of organized club prank or enthusiast prank, right? Got, drone guys all over New Jersey and Pennsylvania now, a little bit in Maryland and Staten Island I see today. You know what? They're all talking and they're saying, hey, this is a lot of fun. We're getting a lot of attention, right? Okay, we get it. The nefarious would be a foreign agent that's doing this. They somehow have, and unfortunately, this has happened previously in history. They've infiltrated and they're like, hey, we've got all these guys with drones and we're going to put them up. But the problem with that part is they're not actually doing anything except buzzing around. I mean, if they're scanning and taking video and photographs or infrared images, okay, but they're not hurting anyone. They're not hitting anyone. They've interfered with planes. They're not dropping on people's houses or schools or anything like that. So those are like the two, I guess, extremes. That it's people having fun, unfortunately, or it's a foreign agent, and everything in the middle is us, right? Is it the United States military? Is it Homeland Security? Is it whatever? And if it is, they're the good guys, and we don't mind that. We just like to know,
Yeah, we did a poll, and a lot of people, 46%, think that it is us, and the rest is pretty much tied of what else it could be.
Yeah, the aliens one is at 19% is interesting. Yeah, I like it. The one thing that's gotten very curious is they are adding. Like there doesn't seem to be everybody's reporting up in the North Jersey. There's not a reduction in volume, but there's an addition in volume south. So, yeah, I don't know. That's where we're at. It's a club thing. I don't know. We really wish we did know, and hopefully we'll know soon.
And just as we wrap it up here, Steven's saying, so drones flying over military bases and airports is legal, or
No,
could those? Okay.
absolutely not. I'm sorry if I made Stephen think that might be true, but that no, you're there. There's a no. There are no fly zones. There are no fly zones.
Is there any truth, since you're talking to the other mayors, that one of them allegedly blocked a medical
Yeah,
landing?
I can tell you exactly what that was. At Raritan Valley Community College, which is down in, I believe that's in Branchburg, New Jersey. I think it's Branchburg. It's on US Route 22. That is it's a large campus with a large grass areas, and they have a medevac landing site there for medical helicopters. There was apparently, I believe it was a car accident, and the person was critically injured. There were drones, and they brought out the medical helicopter from the, I believe, Robert Wood Johnson Medical Center down near Rutgers University, and they could not land because there were drones doing a zigzag pattern in the area, and they did not. Whoever was in charge of the drones didn't stop doing it, so they could not. They could not land, and it put that person. I believe the person survived, but they put their medical health in jeopardy. They put their health in jeopardy by doing that.
As far as the thing we've heard in the last couple of days that some of them might be leaving trails or dropping liquid, is that just hearsay, or has there been any evidence of that?
I can tell you, I'll laugh in a little bit of amusement. I know people in the audience and whatever will be like, "Well, that guy's an insider." On this, we're not insiders, right? Sometimes we're out there pulling the levers, but on this, we're not. And I can tell you, I haven't heard anything of any kind of interaction with these drones, with the ground, with liquids, with hitting other drones, hitting aircraft. They're just up there buzzing around doing what they're doing, and then they're gone.
Very interesting. Actually, Jeremy Corbell, who works with George Knapp, put out some information earlier today. He said he'd been talking with insiders from the government, and according to what he said some of these things might actually be government, some of them might be other stuff, and he said some of them might be secretly allowed to be operating like this for reasons not yet disclosed, and some might be encouraged to be what was the word he used? Encouraged to act not ambiguously was the term used.
Yeah, I would. I don't know. I don't know that I would say being encouraged. Unless they're putting this up as some kind of a test, but you don't do it this way. Let's say you wanted to test the FAA, or you wanted to test radar, or you wanted to, one police organization will talk to another and they say, "Hey, at some time in the next couple of weeks, you guys try to do a drone flyby at Newark Airport, which is our big regional. Try to get into Newark Airport and get near the tower without getting, but they'll do that coordinated so that they can test their own systems, right? They can look for failures in their own system. I don't, if they're doing that, they wouldn't tell us, but it wouldn't be some nefarious group doing it and letting the police know, "Hey, we got it." It's not like a hacker situation or something. So I don't necessarily see that. But again, people say they have sources. I will tell you this: we've heard a zillion bits of speculation. None of it's good. It's all the worst thing. In a void of information, people fill it in with the worst things. But I haven't heard any of those specifics like you're talking about, though.
Yeah, and I'm only saying that because that's coming out of the news today, and you're being very nice answering even some of that more out there claims. One thing I got to ask, though, it's strange that the Secretary of Defense, media, or Donald Trump or Biden hasn't made any type of statement on this yet. Do you expect some type of statement if this continues from them about what's going on?
I do. I'll tell you, and this is inside baseball, as we call it. Yeah, I can tell you that between me, we've all decided to get to the media and start really riling this up. I did an interview yesterday with the NBC affiliate in New York that got carried down to Philadelphia with myself and a resident. And it's ratcheting up, and that's our plan. We want to ratchet up till something gives. Do I think in the next couple of days there may be some statements or some information released? I have no idea that, but I sure hope that. That's what we want. You know, the one thing I would share with your viewers is, you know, I know people don't trust, and we get it. We understand that. But I can tell you, if genuinely the group of mayors that I'm working with, and it's mayors all over New Jersey and other places, we really want the best for the public, and we don't want this happening, and we want an explanation to what's happening. This should not be happening this way. If it's something that the government has said, hey, we need to do some testing or we need to do some security, just tell us, hey guys, we're up there doing, it's us, and we're taking care of business, and people are okay with that. But the being in the dark is not. None of us are okay with that. We don't like it.
Yeah, because it's a little strange, and you're mentioning you were on an NBC affiliate. It seems like the local affiliates are doing stories, and the internet community is interested, but we're not seeing anything nationally. And as you know, I'm from Canada. There's been nothing in Canada at all about
About
this,
this. Yeah.
and it's like you guys are kind of like our big brother. So it's a little
National is
strange.
picking up on it. I was on a Fox national show yesterday. I might be booked later on one. I know a couple of my other mayors, I think, have done ABC national things. They are picking it up, and we're trying. You know, what's interesting is all of us have agreed we're going to do every interview we can. We're going to disseminate as much information as we can that is at our fingertips, because we're going to keep harping at these people. You need to tell us everything. You need to tell us we're okay. You need to tell us it's you, or tell us you know who it is. And if you don't know who it is, go find out. We're tired of this. Our residents are tired of this. Go find out. We don't care what you have to do. Get the information and make us all feel more secure.
And there's some fake videos out there. Obviously, people are after views and stuff. A couple of people are asking about the alleged downed drone the other night. Is there any truth to that, or is that just a fake?
Yeah, it was interesting. I think it was Saturday night. We heard there was a drone downed in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, which is kind of about 30 miles east of Philadelphia. Down in South New Jersey. Pine Barrens is a nationally preserved, it's a preserved wildlife area and all that. And then I'd also got a video that a friend sent me that there was one down in Massachusetts, and the police had it. The one in Massachusetts was this little drone, the size of, not even the size of your keyboard. And some guy was out there poking around and dropped it. And, it fell, and the cops got it, and everybody got upset. The one in the Pine Barrens, I haven't heard about. I also heard there was one down in Lebanon, New Jersey, which is out near the Delaware River, Pennsylvania border. From what I've heard that those were both kind of wives' tales. If the police do have them, and if they're investigating, just so your audience knows, they do not tell elected officials about criminal investigations. They would, if they were doing it, we'll find out when everyone else finds out. They don't call up and go, "Hey, Mayor, we got this going on, and we're investigating it. It's a crime," because they keep us out of it, just because that's what the law really dictates to them. So the ones that are down, that we've heard about being down, there's been absolutely no proof about it.
So I guess that would include some of this drone police camera footage that we've seen the police launching them there. You're not allowed to see what they find on those cameras because it's a criminal.
That would be, or could be. Right. And here's the truth. The person, if someone has committed a crime doing some of this, they have rights. If someone is going to end up being accused of a crime, in this country, you have rights. So they have the right to a fair trial and all those things. So if the police have activity going on, whether it's investigative or criminal or whatever prosecution, the person that may be getting in trouble has rights to be, that their rights have to be followed, I guess is what I'm saying.
Now, you're not the right person to answer this, but this is a good question, because we heard about the Chinese spy balloon being shot down last year. Then there was 3 other UAPs shot down. We never really saw the wreckage of those, but Biden confirmed they were shot down.
Yeah.
This person saying if we shot down that spy balloon,
Mm-hmm.
and it was supposedly no evidence of being hostile, why are we not shooting down these? But that's above your pay grade, right?
Because you'll hurt somebody. Oh no, I can tell you exactly. This is what I brought up. So there have been, and I strongly disagree with some of the statements we made. We've been told there's no threat at this time. There's no threat to anyone. That's not accurate. There is a threat. The threat is the weight of these things. So let's say one of these drones weighs, making this up, 75, 100 pounds. It's a big, strong, powerful drone. It weighs 100 pounds and it's up 300 feet in the air and it's under the legal limit of height. Something, the battery gives out, a bird flies into it, a bat flies into it, something happens and it's going to fall. Something that heavy, if that height, could go through the roof of your house, could crush your car, could fall on a person, fall on a public street, people walking down the sidewalk. So that's that side of that, is that they, if they shoot them down or take them down over a populated area, could end up being very, very injurious to someone.
Very good point on that.
Yeah.
Do you see any connection, and I'll wrap it up here, but someone's mentioning that in the past, Picatinny Arsenal base used to have nuclear weapons, and there's always been a connection to UAPs and nukes. I guess in theory, there's been books written about it,
Yeah.
and some of the people have come forward about it. Do you think it could have anything to do with that? Because it seemed a lot of this also started when President Biden kind of gave the okay to Ukraine to use those nuclear missiles that I don't think have been used yet. But it seemed like that seemed to be the timeline when this all started.
One of the things about that, when you look at those, I'm a student of history. My degree was in history, right? From Rutgers. You look at history and you say, hey, there's 3 or 4 coincidental things that happened all at the same time, and they end up truly being coincidences. At the same time that permission was given, it was right after President-elect Trump was elected. Is it got to do with that? Does it have to do with Ukraine? Does it have to do with something else? Right. So it's speculation gets you in trouble there. I just saw a question pop up on your screen that someone asked about why not follow them home. To answer we've been harping about that. Just follow these things home. When they run out of battery, you're going to find them. I see the one question there from this gentleman. Yeah. We think that's what they should be doing. State police, FAA, the Air Force, whoever has the capability should be putting a drone up, following these things. And then when they go down, you'll find out who owns them and what they're up to.
Could they be launched potentially from the ocean, since we see a lot of these coming from the water, apparently, according to researchers? Not
from water, but because they would never. You mean like underwater from something?
Yeah, or either underwater or from from boats that are in there. Has there been any evidence from anything up high?
Yeah, one of the rumors we heard was that they're being launched off of barges or boats off the Jersey Shore or Barnegat Bay, which is down by exit 10 by New Brunswick, New Jersey. Again, all speculation. They got to be launched from something solid. So if somebody's in a boat, if you're in a rowboat out and your rowboat can hold up the drone and you can launch it, you can do it from a rowboat. You can do it anywhere. Do it from the roof of a building. To do it from the street. A lot of guys set them right on the road, physical asphalt road, and just lift them. They go up.
Has anyone been using thermal cameras from the citizens or people that there? Because it seems like, I'm sure the military and police probably are, but we haven't really seen any thermal technology shooting these things from what's been released so far.
Not that we are aware of. I will tell you, someone I personally know who's a real enthusiast, is actually a drone enthusiast, purchased some equipment to do just that. And is going to independently do it on their own because they are a very tech savvy person. And they said, they have to, when they fly their drone, they have to file a flight plan with the with the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. And this gentleman said to me, it's really not right that these people don't have a flight plan filed when the rest of us do. So they actually want to go up with some equipment like that and start looking at these things. So if they have the capability, I'm sure he'll publish that. But that's me personally. That's not something from the government or anything. But
I hope it doesn't go on long enough for all these people to do this, because it seems like right now people are kind of starting to accept it. I know you guys are working hard to put an end to it, but like people are starting to get used to it. Oh, yeah, there's drones up in the sky.
I have to tell you, and not to disagree with you, people are accepting that that they're up there, but they're getting madder and madder that they're up there. They're like, yeah, I see them, but I've had enough of this. That's the feedback that we're getting. And as elected officials and leaders, we need to poke around at this and make people uncomfortable until we get answers. That's what we're trying to do.
There's a lot of people that keep bringing up, I know you commented a bit in the UK, but I can't ignore them. They keep saying, what are your comments about this happening in other parts of the world?
I'm happy to talk about it. Sure. About all over the world. I just, me personally, I can't speak to that. I just don't know that. I see the same news stuff you guys see. I don't. Yeah.
So you don't know, as this person's saying, if they're all working together, it could be totally different things in every area.
Now, see, that brings me back to the enthusiast, the hobbyist, the club thing, right? So if, in Morris County, New Jersey, or Pike County, or Kent County, Maryland, or, Montgomery County, Maryland, or wherever, keep naming them all. There's just, there's guys out there with drones who say, hey, everybody else is having some fun. I'm going to jump in, right? Which could explain some of this. To me, it might be one of the most plausible explanations. But as far as, having knowledge of who's doing what or where they're doing all these things, there's just, I don't know that the authorities know.
Very interesting. Well, I hope you get some answers, and I really appreciate you joining us. Where can everyone look you up if they want to follow you? Because I'm sure you're going to be putting out information through your town's social media as you get more.
Yeah, the one thing I could tell your audience is I'm not subtle, and I'm not gentle about this stuff. I'm a professional, educated mayor and administrator of my town, and I care about my residents. But I also take a little different approach than some people. I get really aggravated and really in people's faces when I feel the public's not being treated correctly. And I'm really upset about this because I feel the public is getting jerked around. And I feel that there's a standard that our elected officials in government should do for treating people. And when I know something, I'll be happy to email you. Deal, you're very welcome. When I get some information, I'd actually like to come back on and say, hey, here's what we've been told, because people need to know, and all the sources that they can get, whether it's a big national broadcast or a blog or a podcast. That's what we want. We want that information out there.
Very good. Well, I appreciate it, and keep up the good work. I think everybody appreciates your honesty and you coming out, because people have questions and they're not getting answers. So you're doing your best to answer.
Yeah, they can find me on Facebook. They can find me on Instagram. It's Mayor Sam 07803. Facebook is Sam Morris, just my personal, Mine Hill, New Jersey. And I'm happy to, I have an X account too, but I don't use it too much, but I'm happy to, I think this information needs to get out there, and I'm happy, whether I'm talking to somebody in New Jersey, somebody in Kansas, or Oregon, we all deserve some answers.